Hey YouTube, this is Prince from Desi Programmer and welcome back to another exciting video. I know I haven't been regular since quite some time, but I plan to be very regular in this month, and I suppose by the end of this month we will end up creating a complete social media application using Flutter. But right now let's talk about something that's a Flutter local notification plugin, something that can be used to show push notification on your application even if it is offline and without using any cloud messaging services. So let's dive deep right into it. Well, as you can see, I have already added this plugin in my pubspec.yaml file and I have fetched it. And also add these users permissions as well as receiver details in your app manifest.xml file that's located under Android app src main folder. And in my main.dart you can see that I have imported this. Now to set up, here I have this very basic application up and running with basic title, theme, color. It ain't something very fancy. Now to set up, I have to first create a variable of Flutter local notification plugin. I will name it as fltr and notification. Now we have to initialize the plugin with certain options. So in my void init state, I'll first call super.initState, and then I have to initialize the plugin. So I have to first call the Android initialization setting. So let's say some variable Android. Now I have to first call Android initialization setting. So I will set some variable initialize Android with a new Android initialization setting, and here we have to pass an app icon. So make sure that you save that app icon in your Android, then app, then source, then main. Here you will see this folder named as res, and here in the drawable add that app icon as a PNG. So this icon will be visible when you show a notification. Then we will use initialize iOS, that will simply initialize the iOS initialization setting. And then we have to create a general initialization setting which will have initialize Android and initialize iOS. And then we have to initialize the Flutter notification plugin. So first the Flutter notification plugin will be equal to new Flutter notification plugin. So our Flutter notification is that. And now we have to initialize the Flutter notification, that will be Flutter notification.initialize with the initialization setting. And here we need an onSelect notification variable, and what this does is that it tells which function or what to do when a notification is tapped that's on selected. Now since I don't have this function available right now, I'll simply code it as a future since it should return something as future, and I'll leave the entire function blank as of now. And we can't put it here because that accepts context as a parameter by default, so I have to cut this and I have to put it in the complete wizard build. So, and also it accepts a parameter that's a payload, and payload is some data that you pass along with the notification. So I will just simply expect a payload parameter that's going to be a string, and now this shouldn't push any kind of errors. Now to do that, in my child I'll just cut the text and I will create a raised button, and I will show an instant notification as soon as the raised button is clicked. So let's just set the on press to null, and here I have a child, and the child is going to be the text that I just copied. Now let's just save it. Now I'll code a function. Let's say the name is going to be show notification, and what that function is going to do is that it's going to show notification once this button is pressed. So I have to just copy this, and here in the place of on pressed I'll just paste it. Let me tell you something about this. This plugin actually gives us better options to display our notification based on custom sound and a lot of other things, but right now I'm going to go with the basic settings, that how to work with the default system sound, the default way a plugin notification is displayed. So since we have to do that, I don't have to make much changes and don't have to make this complex. So I have this function that's going to be called when somebody clicks on this button, and this function will make sure that we get an instant notification. Now this is going to be an asynchronous operation, and it's going to return some dynamic value in the future. We don't have to worry about that. Now here we have certain notification details from different platforms. So let's say that we have the Android details, and this is going to be new Android, and Android notification detail. And in the Android notification detail, you first something that you need is a channel ID. You can just put your channel ID, then let's say you have to put your channel name, and then you have to put a channel description, and you are good to go. The next thing that you have is the iOS platform specific details. So we have the iOS details, and that's going to be new iOS details. Now here the Android details gives us two extra options. The first one is the importance. So you can set what are the importance of this notification. So it can be importance dot, we have default, high, low, max, minimum, none, and unspecified. I'm sorry. So, and after that we also have the priority, and now we need the general notification details. I will say general notification details, and come on, I'll fix these issues later, the typos. So this is going to be new notification details, and it will first have Android details. So we have Android, and then we have ISO, come on, that's iOS details. Okay, so we have an issue. It says that okay, we don't have to set Android notification channel, we have to set Android notification details. And yeah, now I think there isn't any issue. Now wait, this was just the basic setup to actually show an now wait, this was just the basic setup. To actually show a notification, we have to say await. Then we have to call our variable that's dealing with the Flutter notification plugin, that's Flutter notification, and then we have to call the show. Now show will ask for an ID. I'll simply set to 0. Then we have a title, let's say task, and then we have a body. Let's say you created a task, and then we have the notification details that's going to come from general notification details. That's what we set right now. And now having done this, I think our complete thing is completed. Well, I think our setup is complete. So let's just run the application and let's see what do we get out of it. Well, as you can see, our complete application is up and running. I don't think there was an issue. And let's test that. When I click on this button, you can see we get this simple notification that's test project task, and I created a task. This is how we can show a simple notification that is right now at an instant, right? Next thing is handling this. So we have already coded this function, but we haven't done anything to handle this here. Let me simply show a dialog. In the show dialog, we have the context, that will obviously be the context, and the next thing that we need is a builder. So the builder will take our context, and this will return something for us. Let's say an alert dialog. I'll just simply show some data which just says that okay, we have something right here. Now alert dialog will have its own data. I think we have the content. I'll just simply put some text, and I will say notification. Now let's save that, and let's click on the Flutter notification, and let's click on this notification, and as you can see here we get this alert that says that the notification has been clicked. So this is how we can deal with the data. Also, if you want, you can pass some extra payload. In a real world, the payload will be something like, you know, like if you have to show some post, it will contain the information of the post. Right now I'll simply say that this contains some task, and now I'll save this. Here, as soon as I show this notification, I can also show the payload. So let's say payload. Let's save this. Now let's click on Flutter notification. I get this task. When I click on this, it says notification clicked and task, the value that we have passed as a payload. Pretty amazing, right? Now let's talk about scheduling a notification using the same plugin. So now instead of showing the notification, I'm going to schedule it. To schedule it, we need a schedule time, okay? And we have to first create that schedule time. I will simply set that as a variable. I will name this as scheduled time. And now this time, a very better way, and actually the best way to do that, is to first get the time right now. That's going to come from date time, and date time dot now, and this will give me the time right now. And here I'm going to add some data. I'm going to add some duration to that, and that duration right now I'm going to keep that in seconds. So, and let's say that this is 5 seconds. Right, so now this is our scheduled time. So whenever the notification will be clicked, we will get the time from that. We will get the time at that instant. We will add 5 seconds to that, and after 5 seconds, I'm saying, so actually not after 5 seconds, right at that instant, I'm saying that hey Flutter notification, just schedule a notification for me. Now the schedule will again ask for the same data that we have working on. Let's say the title is task, the body is scheduled notification. The next thing that we have is a scheduled date, so I will say scheduled time, and yep, the last thing is a notification detail. That's going to be general notification details. I think everything is quick and running. I've just set the ID to any random value right now. And now once we have saved this, right, let's click on this button again for the notification, and okay, we get a new task. I have to restart the application. Cool, we get an issue. It says can't find two matches. Really? Okay, let's save this again. Now when I click on this button, we don't get any notification right now. Okay, but 3, 2, 1, and here is a notification. Now this notification has appeared after 5 seconds, the same duration that we have added in our application. Pretty cool, right? Also this notification too, when I click on that notification, this too will show me the same show dialog button. So if I click on this, it shows me the same dialog button. Since I'm not passing any payload, I can't see that payload right now. Now here I'm going to make some changes to our UI, and I'm going to make sure that the UI will have a text input box, and then we have two drop down, one to select time which will basically be in second, minutes and hour, and the next the value of the time, and then a button that will say that hey, schedule this task with a notification. So let me quickly just build that UI that I want to do. So as you can see, I have made all these changes. Let me just quickly walk you through about what we happening right here. So now in our body, in our center, we have a column instead of simply having a raised button. In my column, we have this text field, and there is nothing fancy around it. It's just that when the value of the text field is changed, we are assigning that value to this variable named task. Then we have this another row. Here we have two drop down button. The first drop down button will help us with selecting seconds, minute and hour. We have the value as in a string, and the second drop down will help us in selecting the value, that's how many seconds or how many minutes or how many hour. I don't have too many values because this is not the best way to populate them. Anyway, later then we have on change for both of the drop down that will set the value. Then again we have this raised button that says set task with notification. Pretty cool, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add some task, and that task will be added as a notification. So it's going to work with schedule time, and here we have three different types of schedule times. We have hour, we have minute, and we have second. So we have to work with that too. Now here, just pay some close attention. We have the value as second, minutes and hour. So all we have to do is we have to iterate and check out if the current value is second, minute or hour. We can do that simply by saying something like if the underscore selected parameter right now is equal to hour. That means the user has selected hour. I think this is correct, right? So if this is hour, that means the user has selected hour. You have to simply copy this, and else if the same value is minute, that means the user has selected minute, and else in the third case, I'm not going to do any extra check. That means the user has selected second. Although it won't be a good thing to do in that way. Anyway, let's say we are going to go with that. So when the user selects hour, all that we have to do is we have to fetch the value and set that as an hour. So to do that, I will first cut this, and now this is simply going to be a variable, an uninitialized variable. And here you see we have this complete data. I'm simply going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this right here. So this date time is going to be first, it's going to come from the scheduled time, and the scheduled time is equal to date time dot now add duration. Now this is not going to be seconds, this will be simply hour, and this 5 is not going to be 5, this will be value. This is the variable that will contain the data that's been selected from this drop down, and then this simply colon. The same thing we have to do everywhere, so I will just simply copy, paste, then copy and paste. Now this is going to be minutes, and this is going to be seconds. So we are good to go, right? We have an if and else if, and then another if statement that will handle the schedule time for us, and then we have the complete data, that the task, a schedule notification. I want so the body as schedule notification. Let's say I just want to display the task that we have selected, and yep, I will simply just save this, and this will be, let's say, times up. Now let me add some task. I will say edit this video, and I want to complete it in 4 seconds. I know that's not possible, but let's see. I'll click on this. Now let's wait for 4 seconds. 2, 1, and done. We get this notification that says time's up, edit this video. We'll click on that. Nothing happens, obviously. We're not doing anything fancy right here. If you want, you can move to next screen. I will post that source code in the description about how to move to next screen, but that's actually pretty simple. You have to just use navigator and push, and you can open a new screen with that data. Anyway, this was all about using the Flutter local notification plugin to show an instant as well as schedule a notification from our Android phone. Now obviously there are different instances. You might be using some cloud messaging. We will talk about Firebase cloud messaging too in the next video, most probably after the Hindi video. But till then, keep coding, keep learning, keep shading, and peace.